Hello. At the start I want to say that written version of the guide will be posted in the video description, like always. However, it won't be as detailed as the video one because of the limited space. If you struggle to replicate the build just from written guide, or you have questions related to the build, please watch the video. I'll explain the build in more details. Today I will show you my new build for Beastmaster that you can use in Titan Hunt. This character is another one that used Fangs of Doom before, and because of recent patch it definitely got much weaker. While Beastmaster is one of few characters in the game that has access to great setup for Fangs of Doom without using skill mastery, I didn't want to use it once again. I also managed to find stronger build than the one I am about to show. However, in endgame it was lagging the game so hard that it was pretty much unplayable. It was using Shrapnel Bomb. So instead we go with Lava Tyrants, which is one of the simplest builds in the game that you can use. This build focuses on late game damage, however its early game damage can also be pretty strong. If you are using it to farm materials, I recommend using it in the base Titan Hunt level, maybe Sigil +1. Anything above that will make enemies more tanky without giving us an extra reward. Naturally, we run last Sigil to have access to Void King and its powers, and get all possible types of materials, including Void Essences. We pick 5th weapon, the legendary one, which gives us access to Lava Tyrants that we will be using in the build. We start with 15 rerolls. I recommend spending up to 10 of them in the first skill choice, so at level 3, until you are offered Lava Tyrants. If you are not able to find it in those 10 rerolls, surrender, restart, reach level 3, try again. We do that to have access to Tyrant's passives as soon as possible, since it's our only skill. When it comes to runes, since us mostly make those builds as material farmers, I reserve 2 spots for material runes, Material Harvest and Efficient Extraction, Material Harvest being better for regular materials, and Efficient Extraction being better for Void Essence, aka boss parts. If you care about prestige levels, you can take Arduous Training over one of the materials runes. Third minor rune we can take is Andres Refill, which provides us with extra rerolls and locks never recycle. If you don't care about materials or prestige level and you are running normal run, you can take Reroll Mastery to have even more rerolls, and Unconventional Start, so you can reroll for Lava Tyrants right at the start instead needing to reach level 3. With major runes there is no flexibility at all. You need to take exactly the same 3 runes, otherwise the build will be way weaker or might not work at all. Those 3 runes being Devastating Blow, Focused Mind and Divine Legacy. Devastating Blow reduces our skill slots by 3, but gives Devastating trait to our skills. This trait triples crit damage and can be scaled further with 10 passives. Focused Mind further lowers our skill slots by 2, leaving us with only 1, and provides 70% more damage. And Divine Legacy allows us to force spawns exactly 3 passives we want to take every 30 levels, being Plus Quantity, Multicast and Area of Effect, giving us easy access to very important stats. Since we will always find same 3 passives from Divine Legacy procs, we don't need to save rerolls for it this time. For the skills, like already mentioned, we use Summon Lava Tyrants, which will be our only skill. It is stack skill, meaning each of our T-Rex will get extra damage for every burn stack on a target. Because we will have a lot of them and we can make them attack quite fast, they also work as their own stack generators, applying a lot of burn stacks on everything. Important thing I need to mention about playstyle with this skill is that Tyrants have Taunt trait, meaning enemies will target them instead you. While you fight against Titans, it's great. However, when you run around the map, make sure to never run through your army and instead move around them. This is because Tyrants are most likely targeted by some AoE or projectile that is hard to see, and you can just walk straight into it and die. Early on, when area of Tyrants is still low, I also recommend standing close to targets you want to kill. It seems to help a little with targets priority, so T-Rexes kill them faster. When it comes to skill passives, naturally we have only passives for Lava Tyrants, which all are important. Damage to Tyrants is much better option than regular damage passives, giving us huge damage boost, especially because in the ring we cannot get free 800% damage from prowess stacks, which we normally get on other types of builds. Attack speed will both lower cooldown of the skill itself, allowing us to spawn or heal them more often, but also will make Tyrants attack faster, which double dips for our DPS boost. Attacking faster means not only more DPS from more hits, but it also means more burn stacks applied over time, leading to another damage increase to those hits. Last, but actually most important passive is plus quantity. It allows us to have more Tyrants at once, which again will double dip because we have more T-Rexes, meaning more hits, meaning more DPS, but also more burn stacks applied, increasing damage of each hit. We try to take all of those passives every time they appear. However, if you need to pick between them, damage is lowest priority. For regular passives, for a passive, that top priority is multicast, as we are not able to get it from Finesse, and Tyrants don't have multicast passive. After that, crit damage, for similar reason, we cannot get it from Aptitude, and we do not get it from anything else. Chance and area of effect at the end, we will get plenty of it from Titan powers, but it's still good to take them. Regular damage and cast frequency is banished. For the passive stats, we want to take a lot of movement speed, because it also makes our Tyrants move faster, and since they are melee minions, they will need to move a lot. HP is also good, because even though we will barely get hit, thanks to Taunt on Tyrants, it will also increase their HP, letting them tank a few more hits. Armor and block are banished, because enemies penetrate 90% of it later on, making it useless. Since Magnet or XP passives don't work on the XP we got in the past, the earlier we take them, the stronger they are, which means we want to prioritize them early on, and once we reach around 200 extra XP, we banish it. When it comes to negative effects, our top priority is burn on hit, because it will make Tyrants apply more burn stacks with each hit, meaning more extra damage for them. Since we use burn to scale Tyrants damage, we don't care about burn damage nor frequency. Also, important note, each level of burn on hit will mean more stacks applied. So the game shows that the damage of burn goes up, but in reality damage of each stack is the same. We apply more stacks per hit, and that's obviously good for us, because we want as many burn stacks as possible. Because we use Beastmaster, we will have access to poison from the start. We do not care about it at all, we banish it. And once we find burn to slow synergy and unlock slow passives, we want to take both slow on hit white and green tier ones, and slow on crit ones. We take both tiers of slow on hit, because they count as separate sources for synergy. After that we banish it. Once we find slow to disarray synergy, we unlock disarray on hit passives, which we banish. We are able to easily reach hard cap with just the synergy itself. We don't need the on hit passives. Beastmaster Accession is another one of those that could be good if we actually had time to use it, since most titans will die before we can even summon first wave of raptors. We disable it entirely, removing passives related to it from the passive pool. You can do it at the starting menu on the right side of the screen before you start the run. And to sum up the list of our banishes, here is what we banish and why. Damage and Leviathan, because damage to Lava Tyrants is just much better option. Cast frequency, again, because attack speed to Lava Tyrants is just much better option. Armor and block, because enemies penetrate 90% of it later on, making it useless. XP, after we reach around 200 extra. If you reached it before beating Void King, you can keep it for a little longer and banish it after you beat King. Disarray on hit, poison on hit, and slow on hit after taking both tier 1s, so white and green tier. And lastly, Incinerate, because it's another useless purple passives, since we don't care about burn damage. Since later on in the game we'll get a lot of area of effect from Colossal, you could banish area of effect instead XP. This would mean plus quantity is only purple passive left, leading to getting both legendary and epic plus quantity passive from Divine Legacy, giving you around 10, maybe up to 15 more units in the end. However, it will definitely slow down your clear speed in early stages, because base AoE of Tyrants is pretty low. And since this build stops not because of lack of DPS, but because T-Rexes start to die way too fast, that extra damage won't really change much. So that's why I didn't go with such version. Okay, so now that we know how the build works, what to take, what to not take, and so on, time for another very important aspect, which are titans and their passives. Order of them is quite important, and passives we take from them is even more important, so I recommend leaving at least 5 rerolls, maybe up to 10 for each titan, to make sure we get the passive we are looking for, and we can roll specific titan as our next cycle. So the first titan we go to is Broken, aka Lizard, from which we take Shattered on hit power. Shattered reduce armor of enemies by fixed amount. For Titan Hound 200 stacks its hard cap, so minus 200 armor on enemies. So the more armor enemies get from each cycle, the weaker it gets, but it speeds up early cycles significantly. So we take it even though the late game is in late game it's not huge damage bonus anymore. Second titan we go for is are Kobold Twins, Vivolt and Volcaga, and we take Slow to Brittle Synergy. Brittle itself does pretty much nothing in our build, however it will be important for other titan power we take. Third titan on the list is Midorak the Beetle. This time we take Brittle to Colossal Synergy. This is the reason why we needed to take Slow to Brittle before. This power allows Tyrants to generate Colossal each time they hit, boosting their area of effect significantly, making the build way more comfortable, especially once they get enough attack speed. Fourth titan we pick is Mezahead, aka the Scorpion, from which we want to take power which spawns Sandstorms every time we generate 50 stacks of Colossal. This is another reason why we need all those Colossal stacks. Sandstorm not only will apply Dazed on hit, which will provide 200 extra crit chance, but they also add a lot of extra hits per second that can apply burn, and each Tyrant has its own limit for Sandstorm, so we get huge DPS boost from them. After beating 4th Titan, we go to the Void King realm. From Void Hunter, the mini-boss before King, we take 300 crit damage passive, as we don't have good source of the crit damage. And from the Void King himself, we take chance to apply wound power. Wound is unique negative effect, which gives us 50% chance to apply double stacks of any other negative effect on the target, including burn stacks, which is main focus on our build, resulting in 50% more damage on average. So after beating the king, our next titan on the list is miles ahead, like the scorpion again, but this time we take exposed on hit power. Since each stack of exposed gives 4% extra damage for big hits, even with 200 stack hard cap, this is 800% extra damage to our build, so another huge DPS boost. 7th titan on the list is Arwanak, the spider, from which we take Disarray to Disorientate synergy. This will provide us with 200 extra crit damage, giving us 3 times more DPS. 8th titan we will be fighting is Midorag, the Beetle again. This time we want to take Exposed to Radiance synergy. Radiance stacks will count separately for each tyrant, so we've got with giant army of them. We can easily get enough fragility stacks, which are applied by Radiance. Fragility provides us with another 200 extra damage, meaning another 3 times more DPS. Okay, at this point we got all key elements of the build, so next titans will be so-called filler powers to give us much extra DPS as we can squeeze from each passive. There are three good options available to us, giving us quite significant damage boost from each. Those being Cobalt Twins, from which we will be taking Devastating Potency, getting 100%, 50% and 25% more DPS from each point. Beetle, from which we will be taking crit chance to fire skills from burn stacks, getting 200 extra crit chance for each point. And Icebird, from which we will be taking 3% cast frequency for each active summon, giving us over 150% cast frequency from each point. That also works on our T-Rexes. So the 9th titan will be Evolved Valkach, from which we take Devastating Potency. 10th titan will be Midorag, from the Beetle, from which we take crit chance to fire skills from burn stacks. 11th titan will be Iooked, the Icebird, from which we take 3% cast frequency for each active summon. And we loop again, so 12th titan will be Vivold and Valkach, again, from which we take Devastating Potency again. 13th titan will be Midorag again, from which we take crit chance to fire skills from burn stacks again. 14th titan will be Iooked again, from which we take 3% cast frequency for each active summon again. And we loop again. 15th titan will be Vivold and Valkach for the last time, from which we take Devastating Potency again. 16th titan will be Midorag for the last time, from which we take crit chance to fire skills from burn stacks again. And 17th titan will be Iooked again, from which we take 3% cast frequency for each active summon again. Going for kobolds and Beetle again is out of the question because our summon will die too fast to their lingering attacks. That's why 18th titan will be Broken, the lizard, from which we take extra crit damage to nearby targets. This bonus is measured from each summon, not from us, and since they are melee minions, they will always have that bonus when attacking. 19th titan will be Iooked for the last time, from which we take 3% cast frequency for each active summon again. And at this point, a very good titan would kill our summons way too fast, so our only option is to fight remaining 2 that spawn lingering effects late into the game, I think once they reach less than 50% HP. So the 20th titan will be Felipox, the mushroom, from which we take extra HP and damage. And for the last 21st titan we pick Arwanak the spider. We don't care what passive it offers, we are leaving after beating it. as at this point titans start to kill our summons so fast that they barely have time to deal damage, so overall fight take too long to be worth farming further, over 1 minute per titan. So that's all information related to the build. Hopefully I explained it well enough that you are able to follow it. If you don't understand something about the build or have trouble with specific part of it, let me know in the comments. It's totally possible that I forgot about something, thinking that it's obvious, not realizing that for new player it in fact might not be obvious. I try to talk about everything in my guides, but there is a lot of things in those builds. You can also watch the full run of the build in the video I posted yesterday. I will put link to it in the video description as well. I hope that this build will help you with farming, or maybe you'll learn something that will help you in creating your own builds. I will see you in the next one. Have a good day. Bye bye.